Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode of what I call AI with a side of salt. Um, this is basically a web show, basically where I take a topic, I criticize it, give my take on something, throw some salt out, whether it comes from the AI itself, me, or you, the audience. But um, I want to try to. This is my first episode of this, so I don't really have any formula down pat yet. So, please be kind here. Um, so I want to start with a seasonal topic here for my first episode. The first episode I think we should focus on are fireworks, right? I mean, what's not to love about fireworks? We love it when they work. I mean, hence the name. Get it? We love it when fire works. Okay, I'll show myself out. Not really. Okay. But anyway, we like it when fireworks explode correctly. We like how colorful they are. We like the noise they make. Suffice to say, fireworks are designed to be a spectacle regardless of, which side you're on. Hell, and unless you're a victim of a firework yourself, you know, some of us even love seeing it on the news, whether it be a firework mishap or some idiot trying to use fireworks, maliciously. But there's one thing that I don't really like about fireworks here, and I don't know if maybe some of you might agree with me on this, but I just don't understand the whole thing about firework tents, right? I mean, it's one thing for your city to say, "Oh, we don't allow this kind of firework," but yet, as patriotic as symbolic as it is for patriotism as it's become, it's almost unenforceable. Basically it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. But like I said, firework tents are just something I just don't quite understand. I mean, first of all, when you go into when you go into one of these tents, right? I mean, I don't remember any particular company, but you go in there and it all seems to me like it's all the same stuff, right? I mean, just with different names. I mean, it's brightly colored, it has some advertisements that, it's almost like, I guess the best way to put it is that, I mean, for those of you who don't have, say, YouTube Premium, right? You see all these ads for mobile games that are unapologetically, like, maybe misogynistic in nature or unapologetically, made by foreign companies. Trust me, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's almost like, for me, when you go in there to buy stuff, it just feels like an IRL advertisement, you know? And because ultimately, what are you really getting? You're getting mortar shells, you're getting maybe snappers for the kids, the things you throw on the ground and they explode. Firecrackers, that's a go-to. Bottle rockets, if you're able to get your hands on them. Some states actually have outlawed those. You know, basically, 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 for those of you who may not remember what a bottle rocket is, it's basically like a firecracker, but it has a propellant, right, that makes it shoot and then explode. Well, basically, they've taken out the propellant part, and you're just left with firecrackers. So, and then, you got your variety of smoke bombs, crackle balls, fountains, spinners, whatever the hell I think they call them snakes. The little black dots you light, and then they just grow. You know, I mean, it's all the same crap. Now, and plus, they try to sell you on things like, buy one, get three free, or buy one, get two free, or something, But like I said, I mean, these things are designed to, they're all designed to be one and dones, right? And so, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't know. I mean, I like fireworks, but it's just all the same, I mean, at this point, I think I'd rather be entertained than to be the one providing the entertainment, I mean, especially now, as it is right now, we don't have we used to have this old fort at our house, right? But last year, well, just after the 4th of July last year, we actually took down the fort because it was an eyesore. And so now we don't really have any platform with which to light them off ourselves. So right now we're kind of in the planning phase, I guess, to find a local area fireworks get together, I suppose. I mean, it's probably going to be crowded, sure, but I mean, but what are you going to do, right? And that's another thing about fireworks. Like, I don't think there's, unless I'm blind and stupid, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's like an online or a televised fireworks display that I'm aware of. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're doing your fireworks thing, if you're out having fun, you're out having fun. Why tune in to watch a fireworks display when you're there in person, right? But you know, but that's just me. I guess I just don't really. I guess they would have to like invent like some kind of new firework, right? But trying to come up with something new, is just kind of tough, especially, like maybe you build something that starts off as a fountain and then turns into a mortar shell or something. I don't know. I mean, that's not likely to happen because apparently in these firework tents, there's actually a limit to how much gunpowder or there's a limit to what you can and can't sell in these tents, right? So perhaps maybe that's why everything just seems lackluster, you know, of late because all the firework because there's a limit to what they can sell you. Now, speaking of firework tents, but speaking of firework tents, my concern is like the safety in these tents, right? Because I don't know, it seems like every year it's the same thing, right? You go into these brightly colored, blue and white or blue and red and white, blue and white, yellow and white circus-like tents, that might have a mesh fencing around the perimeter to basically limit, where people can get in and get out from. But, like I said, I don't really see how security is really improved because, what's to stop like some rogue, hoodlum from coming in and raising a ruckus, Oh, wait, I'm so stupid here. This wouldn't be AI with a side of salt without the use of AI. So hold on a sec. Yeah, okay. Put you here. Okay, I got desktop monitor on, so hopefully this works here. Oh shoot, I can't. Well, that's a sticky wicket. I can't exactly. You know what? Let's just try this out here. Hopefully I'll be able to see this in post or whatever. Okay, so this wouldn't be AI with a side of salt if I didn't use AI. Okay, all right, so let's discuss fireworks safety, specifically firework tents that sell them. Okay, so according to AI here, firework retail tents must strictly adhere to strict fire codes and safety regulations to prevent devastating accidental ignitions and ensure rapid customer evacuation. Because these pop-up stands sit in highly trafficked areas during peak summer and winter seasons. Huh. That's another thing. I don't think I've ever seen at least in my neck of the woods, unless I'm blind and stupid, I haven't really seen a fireworks tent in the wintertime. Maintaining life safety compliance is paramount for vendors, workers, and consumers alike. Okay, structural and layout compliance. Okay, here's what the computer says. Temporary structures selling consumer fireworks must be designed defensively according to NFPA 1124 standards. Okay, so flame retardant vinyl. Tents must feature certified flame retardant fabric to resist external heat or sparks. Well, good for the tent. Interior clearance. A minimum 3-foot buffer zone must remain entirely clear between the tent's fabric, sidewalls, and any inventory on display shelves. Wide, clear aisles, public walking paths inside the structure must stay completely unobstructed and maintain a minimum width of 48 inches to handle sudden crowds. Emergency egress? Egress? Am I pronouncing that right? Tents must have at least 2 to 3 wide outward swinging exit routes. Swinging. What, you mean like a saloon style door? Oops. With a maximum travel distance of 75 feet from any point inside the tent to the closest exit. Exit paths must feature visible illuminated signage if open past dusk. Huh. But does that apply to a tent? Okay. Now hold on. Tents must have at least. Okay, so does the emergency egress really comply with firework tents exactly? I don't see how there's any real openings aside from one if they have a mesh surrounding the perimeter of a tent. Yes, emergency egress rules apply strictly to firework tents, and those mesh perimeters are designed to be bypassed or opened instantly in an emergency. While a tent may look completely sealed from the outside to prevent theft, fire codes explicitly ban single exit setups for retail fireworks. If you see mesh walls enclosing a tent, they must comply with specific life safety standards. Okay, but now here's where it loses me because some of these tents, like, they don't have like one entrance and one exit. It's usually like one entryway that's both an entry and an exit. I seem to recall tents that not only surround the perimeter, but the only way into a tent is the same way you get out of a tent as far as openings go. Yes, there's a mesh surrounding the building, like you mentioned, but there's like one entry or one exit. They're one and the same. You are remembering accurately. Many operators configure their layouts precisely this way, but having only one way in and out is a severe illegal fire code violation for any public fireworks tent. If a tent is enclosed in mesh and forces all customers to enter and leave through a single gated gap, it is a disaster waiting to happen. The reasons behind this setup and the true mechanics of how it's supposed to work reveal why it's a critical safety issue. Why vendors create this trap. Vendors set up tents with a single visible opening for two non-safety reasons. Theft control. Fireworks are small, high value, and easy to shoplift. Limiting the perimeter to one checkpoint makes it easier for staff to watch the crowd. Guiding traffic. Forcing everyone through a single entry exit point channels people directly past the cash registers to maximize sales. So, the illusion of safety versus real life safety code. What feels like an ordinary entrance during a normal day becomes a fatal bottleneck if a spark hits a display pile. If a fire, pyrotechnics create blinding smoke, toxic gas, and explosive heat within seconds. If hundreds, maybe more like, I don't know, 30 people at most. I don't know, maybe 15. If hundreds of panicked people rush toward that single opening, it creates a deadly crush. Because of this, NFPA and federal OSHA guidelines state that a single entry-exit point is completely illegal if the public is allowed inside the tent. How it should look under the mesh. If a tent uses a mesh wrap, fire inspectors will only pass it if it meets these exact structural conditions. The sides must break apart. If the rest of the perimeter is covered in mesh, that mesh cannot be a solid continuous wall. There must be a distinct breakaway, seamless, or hidden flaps on the sides or back marked with a visible exit signs. No hurdles. The area behind those mesh flaps cannot be blocked by inventory boxes, heavy plate pallets, or display tables. A customer must be able to push right through the mesh and land safely outside. Okay, fair enough. If you see a tent where the mesh is zipped, locked, or tied down with rope in all the way around, leaving just that one gate open, the operator is actively violating the law to prevent theft and at the expense of customer safety. If you're trying to address a layout like this, let me know. Well, see, I do get that the mesh can break away, and I get that. And, it is true that some of these things are shopliftable. But I don't know, like, hold on. Okay, but realistically, right? Let's say somebody was trying to, I don't know, specifically cause trouble, or what if a drunken individual just stumbles in the tent and just lights one off or something? I mean, in today's day and age, what ways do we prevent this? Okay, but let's okay, but real so my Elgato is picking me up, all right. Preventing a catastrophic internal ignition or drunken accident relies on strict environmental design protective. In today's high-risk environment, tent operators cannot just react to an emergency. They must actively prevent a flame source from ever getting near the merchandise. Modern firework retail operators use a multi-layered security and safety strategy to neutralize these. Oh, come on. Where does the AI get off on this? I mean, it's a tent. Perimeter control and hostile vehicle mitigation. To prevent a drunk individual from stumbling or someone deliberately causing trouble, the approach to the tent is tightly controlled before a person even reaches the counter. Barricade fencing. High volume tents use temporary chain link or heavy plastic barricades to channel foot traffic into a single visible queue line. This prevents people from drifting into the tent from random angles. Impact barriers. Operators place water-filled plastic barricades, heavy concrete blocks, or strategically parked staff vehicles between the parking lot and the tent entrance. This prevents a drunk driver or hostile... Oh, I didn't even think about drunk driver. Or a hostile actor from intentionally ramming the vehicle into the pyrotechnics. Just for clarification for my audience, what do you mean by actor? When safety experts, law enforcement, or code inspectors use the word actor, they do not mean a Hollywood movie star. In security and risk management, an actor is a neutral professional term for any person who takes an action. Well, that's broad. Specifically, someone who causes an event to happen. Okay. Okay, but about these barricades you mentioned to prevent, ne'er-do-wells from causing trouble. I don't remember seeing any of these at the tents I've gone to. Is this true for all tents then, or not? No, heavy crash barriers are absolutely not present at every fireworks tent, and your observation is completely accurate. The high-level security strategies outlined earlier represent the absolute gold standard for large professional corporate operations or mega tents in massive high-risk metro parking lots. In the real world, the vast majority of neighborhood tents you visit do not have them. why you rarely see barricades at standard tents. Fire codes don't require anti-terrorism barriers, and the local fire codes focus heavily on fires and basic separation distances, not hostile actors. The law usually only requires parked cars to be at least 10 to 20 feet away from the tent fabric. Okay, the real danger of an average local tent. Because most tents completely skip physical or crash crowd barriers, they remain highly vulnerable to the exact scenario you described. A reckless person or driver causing immediate chaos without those defenses. Tents rely almost entirely on two bare minimum safety nets. The fuse rule. The law forces manufacturers to securely cover or cap all fuses. You know, I can actually vouch for that because I've seen fireworks where they actually cover the fuse. Even if a chaotic person runs into the tent, they cannot easily swipe a lighter past a display and ignite it instantly. They have to actively fight the packaging. Staff intervention. If a drunk person stumbles in, the only barrier protecting that inventory is an underpaid teenager or a volunteer stepping in to stop them before they pull out the lighter. Okay, if you're putting okay, but what if somebody were to just, I don't know, use an incendiary or, I don't know, a Molotov cocktail? What happens then? If an incendiary device or a Molotov cocktail is thrown into a fireworks retail tent, it will trigger a catastrophic multi. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. I mean, these things just really aren't safe. So what is okay? The first 3 to 10 seconds flash ignition. A Molotov, sure. Right. See, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it's America's 250th this year. I would like to think that there'd be more security at these tents. Are there? You are completely right to call this out. There is a major disconnect between the massive security upgrades happening for the 250th and what you will actually see at your neighborhood fireworks tent. While America's semi-quincentennial 250th birthday has triggered unprecedented Super Bowl level federal security, anti-sniper team, oh Jesus, and drone restrictions at local public celebrations like the Freedom 250 Festival. They heavily that heavy protection does not trickle down to local retail tents. The reality of how security is being handled for fireworks sales during this storm reveals why local stands remain highly vulnerable. The heightened security is entirely concentrated on high-profile public spaces and major professional events. Okay, so let's see. Fire code focuses on supply, not retail. Okay, let me change the topic here. Tell me, I asked you once before off camera about sparklers. You said before that they could be used somehow to create an explosive. Yes, your memory is completely. What danger is this? When burned, normally a single handheld sparkler is a slow, open deflagration. The flammable powder burns. However, if somebody harvests that exact powder and tightly compresses it, it undergoes a violent. For your audience, here's okay. The physics of confinement. Okay, so is there a video of somebody getting caught with one of these things or a mishap that has occurred that you can show us? I cannot play or stream video clips directly inside this chat window. However, you can easily find the official television broadcast. Morning topics. Okay, the Rowdy Redford case. Okay. In July 2016, a 15-year-old boy taped 180 sparklers together. The device detonated instantly upon ignition. The explosion severely burned his face and chest, blew off several fingers, and forced doctors to amputate his leg below the knee. His family actively went on camera and the news stations like NBC and 11 to share video and photos of his hospital as a graphic public warning. The Mark Shrewsbury case in Missouri, another prominent broadcast from Fox St. Louis, features a teenager who lost 3 fingers, his thumb, and suffered extensive shrapnel burns across his limbs. He explicitly recorded a video interview to explain how fast the fuse burned compared to his expectations. The Lone Oak Church construction accident. For a more recent example, from June 2025, KFVS 12 News covered an explosion in Kentucky where 2 grown men were hospitalized after one man built a sparkler bomb and the other attempted to cut it, accidentally triggering an immediate detonation. The police arrest. So, if you want to show your audience the criminal justice side, proving that these are treated as illegal bombs, you can look up the police press releases and local news footage. The Anderson County hotel room arrest, 2025. Police body cam and local reporting from Fox, Carolina covered a suspect who was caught sleeping past checkout. Caught sleeping? Past checkout in a hotel room. Under his mattress, deputies discovered a fully constructed sparkler bomb tightly wrapped in black electrical tape alongside a firearm. He was booked directly on felony charges for possessing illegal. Okay, so as a PSA for those who still have fireworks laying around who want to dispose of them safely after the holidays, could you basically give an idea for my audience where and how to dispose of them? The safest and most responsible way to dispose of leftover consumer fireworks is to completely deactivate the pyrotechnic powders using water before throwing them in the trash. Leaving the live fireworks in a garage, hot attic, or standard trash can can create a severe hazard for homeowners. Step 1, the soak and drown method. How to do it. Okay, so this is basically just how to dispose of a firework that has already been lit. Okay, where to take them. Once the fireworks are deactivated, how you throw them away depends entirely on your local municipal rules. Household trash. Most cities and countries fully soaked double bagged fireworks are legally classified as standard municipal solid waste. No. I mean like fireworks that have not been lit whatsoever, that may still pose a threat. Like, is there a police area that we can take them to or dispose of them safely? Yes, absolutely. If you have unlit live fireworks that you consider too dangerous to handle or soak yourself, you can hand them directly over to public safety officials. Police and fire amnesty days, no questions asked. Many major metropolitan areas host official drop-off events specifically to get live fireworks, old ammunition, and commercial explosive out of people's homes. The policy. These are strictly no questions asked events. Police and bomb squads set up mobile collection points where you can drive up and hand over the items without fear of fines, citations, or investigations, even if the fireworks are illegal in your specific city. Okay, real world example. Locally, the Omaha Police Department. Now, just so we're clear, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually from Omaha, Nebraska, so that's why, the results are defaulting to Omaha here. So there's a little bit of a hint as far as my identity. Well, there's the black cat. This actually reminds me of something. All right, well, I'm not sure about something here. So I keep hearing about. Oh, okay. I'm almost about out of time for today's episode. Um, One thing I want to know as far as fireworks sales go, I've always been brought up under the mantra of Black Cat being the best you can get. Is it in fact the best you can get? No, Black Cat is not objectively the best fireworks brand you can buy, but it is easily the most consistent and famous. The idea that Black Cat is the absolute pinnacle of pyrotechnics is a highly successful marketing legacy because they are the oldest registered consumer fireworks brand in the United States, dating back to 1952. They built a massive nostalgic trust that spans generations. When evaluating the market for an audience show, the reality of the brand breaks down across quantity, value, and competition. Okay, Black Cat earns its reputation in two specific categories: elite quality control. Their dud rate is remarkably low. They use higher quality, tightly rolled handmade paper and powder pro, chemical mixtures. This ensures their traditional firecrackers, bottle rockets, and small fountains perform exactly as advertised, every single time without exploding prematurely on the ground. Standout shell kits. Pyrotechnic hobbyists widely agree that Black Cat's 60-gram canister shells kits, specifically the Diablo and Neon Diablo lines, are genuinely excellent and rank among the hardest hitting legal consumer artillery options on the market. Um, the brand name tax. The downsides: higher prices because Black Cat logo is universally recognized. You pay a premium for the packaging item. For the item, you can often find why experts say is better now. Who the experts say is better now. In the modern fireworks enthusiast community, several brands are considered to equal or outperform Black Cat in creative backyard show design. Okay, and so they say Raccoon Fireworks, Winda Pyrotechnics, Brothers Pyrotechnics, well, other brands here. I mean, pause the video and take time to read that if you want. Um, so I think I should probably cap this video off by mentioning something that's happened locally here about 3 years ago, as far as a fireworks incident. Um, let's see. Is there a YouTube on the Sarpy County fireworks disaster? There's no massive industrial tent explosion video. If you're looking for a local footage of fireworks emergency show your audience incident, yeah, okay, I think this is the one. Oh, I guess it's opened a different window. Oh, this is weird. Um,
Welcome back. New at 4, bond is set at $500,000 each. 3 adults arrested in Sarpy County for a frightening attack on 4th of July. 6 News first broke the story about what happened in the area of 135th and Redwood Drive. Several people were seen on a home security camera attacking a family outside of their home. They used fireworks first, then physically assaulted them, injuring several members of that family. Under arrest right now, 40-year-old Jeremy Brown, 37-year-old Brittany King, and her son, 18-year-old Maddox Keith Foss, all on your screen there, each facing charges of first-degree assault, along with 2 juveniles, 11 and 13 years old.
okay, well, there you have it. Basically, the general gist. Okay, there we go. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, the general gist here is that Oh wait, this is on YouTube. Why did they say it wasn't on YouTube? Or maybe this is just a different video of the same thing?
Sarpy County deputies believe a group of people attacked a family on the 4th of July using fireworks, and in the fight that followed, 2 people were seriously hurt.
This doorbell camera video captures the encounter. It happened at 135th and Redwood Streets. That's just off of Harrison.
Tonight, the victims tell KETV News Watch 7's Abby Peterson they're left with a lot of questions and pain. Doorbell camera video shows what started as a peaceful 4th of July for Jeff O'Brien and his family.
My grandkids were here, and we had our cookout, and had a great day.
Little did they know that great day was about to take a shocking turn. You can see 3 people come into view. Then, Roman candles start going off. O'Brien says the group sent the fireworks directly at him.
Oh, it's brutal. I mean, you don't expect anything like that. It was just, I can't explain it. It was like surreal.
He says they've never seen these people before. When O'Brien says they tried to get them to stop,
They got kicked, beat, and then they beat my son severely. And the worst part about that is that the last part of that video is I see him getting kicked right square in the head. And it hurt so bad.
O'Brien says the fight left him with 4 fractured ribs and he has burns from the fireworks.
That was a Roman candle ball. It hit my left arm.
You can still see a blood stain at the end of the driveway. O'Brien says it's from his son's face, which now looks like this. O'Brien says his son has broken bones in his face and an eye injury. Sarpy County Sheriff's investigator David Larson says this is the first time in 6 years he's seen anything like this.
Pretty shocking. The video, I think, is pretty gruesome. It's not gory or anything, but it's just very shocking to see.
O'Brien hopes it's the last time and that whoever did this gets caught.
They just had a look of just evil in them. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. I don't know how else to describe it because, like you said, they never said a word.
Deputies are looking for this black Dodge Ram truck. You can see.
Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. Suffice to say, this was 3 years ago, and they've already identified the suspects. So, anyway, that's just one incident. That's just a thing that I'm kind of afraid of for the 250th anniversary of America's birthday. That people are just going to take fireworks and do something stupid like this. If I have to leave this episode with something, it would be, please stay safe out there. Use your fireworks responsibly and don't pull stupid shit. I mean, I know this is the internet and I know you guys like to get into all these trends, but, let's just all try to have a good time that doesn't involve anybody going into the hospital, all right? So shout outs for to WOWT, Channel 6, shout outs to KPTM, Channel 7, I guess. Yeah, KETV, Newswatch 7, excuse me. And, of course, Google AI for providing information. And I want to ask you guys, ladies and gentlemen, so do you believe everything that AI has told us thus far that has been displayed on the screen? Or should we take this with a grain of salt? Anyway, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another episode, maybe. Depending on how many views this gets. Later.